Sadie. Welcome to my brand new channel. I'm going to be doing a natural-ish look today that you can wear to the office or out. It's pretty low maintenance, and if you'd like to see how to get this look, then just keep watching. So first of all, I am having trouble with my camera focusing, so we're going to have to manage that. See? Doing it again. I typically start with my face and then do my eyes afterwards. I don't generally have too big of an issue with fallout with my eyeshadows, so let's get started. So first, let me zoom in. So I've just adjusted it manually, so hopefully it stays in focus. So I typically do my face first. I'm gonna start with priming because I've already moisturized my face. So I'm just gonna start by priming my face. I typically just use my fingers. Just kind of put it everywhere. I feel like every time I watch YouTube videos, everybody forgets this part. I don't know if it's just me noticing or if people actually forget, but for some reason I always catch that and I think it's really funny. Okay, so I've primed my face. I typically don't wear a lot of foundation. Not so much that I don't need it, I think, I feel like I really like a lighter feel on my skin. I don't like to feel the foundation on my face. And also I feel like it looks more natural, and I'm typically more of a natural look kind of person. And plus I'm quite oily, so I find it can kind of break down regularly, and lower maintenance is better in my opinion. First of all, I guess, before I put foundation on, I'm going to hydrate my lips. I use Lush's Honey Trap Lip Balm. So I'm just going to do that. This stuff's really nice. It's really moisturizing. And that way my lips can hydrate while I'm doing this. So I'm going to take my foundation brush. This is just a cheapy brush off of Amazon. And I'm going to use the Maybelline Dream Cushion Liquid Foundation on the Go for the face in shade 20. Shade 20. So I don't typically use the cushion, I use the brush as I mentioned. This is what it looks like. I'm just going to dab in a little bit. And I'm just going to put it sort of everywhere, a little bit, really lightly actually. I don't do a whole bunch. It is a medium coverage, but I like to do a lighter coverage overall. And I don't have a mirror behind the camera, so I'm just going to quickly press this in using my little handheld mirror here. So it doesn't really give me any coverage. That's okay with me. It more evens my skin tone, which is fine. As I mentioned, I tend to get oily, so I'll use a blotting powder in a little bit. And you can see right here I have a bit of a blemish. I'll just use some concealer for that part. So that was super fast. All I did was buff that in, super easy. I have this Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer in Vanilla. And I'm going to use my Naked 2 Basics brush here, just the fatter end of it. Just going to dip that in here. So I'll just press that into the blemish here, and it'll kind of disappear a little bit. I don't mind if it peeks through. And I'll just sort of look around for any other spots. I got one up here. So just press it in a little. It can peek through, I don't mind. Now I'm just going to, before I set, I don't do under eye concealer very often. If I'm really looking exhausted, maybe you think I am now, but if it's really bad, then I tend to put a little bit, but I find it can just be a little cakey, and I'm lower maintenance, as I mentioned. So I'm going to instead just add any other cream products before I want to powder. So I have this Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Moonstone. I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of that onto the back of my hand here, not too much. It might not actually be enough, but we'll see in a minute. I'm just going to take another one of these cheapy Amazon brushes. This one's a little bit denser. And I'm just going to tap into that product, and then I'm going to just put that mostly on the tops of my cheekbones, just to catch any light. See, it's just kind of a natural glow, and then I'll put powder over top, so it won't be. I'm going to kind of do a little bit on my nose. I like to do it on my Cupid's bow. Not too much because I don't really want like a sweaty lip look. No more cream products, so I'm just going to set my face. Like I mentioned, I'm oily, so I'm going to use a blotting powder. This is the Kat Von D Lock-It blotting powder in the shade Light. It's a bit more yellow tone than I am, but it doesn't really show up. It's a bit translucent. I'm just going to take this Sephora brush from one of the kits that I got, dabbing into here, put a little bit there just in case I had any foundation under there, and just like very lightly everywhere is what I'll do here, particularly on my blemishes that I covered, and my T-zone is the main thing, so I'll do that. Knocking everything down over here. This is my very first video, so I don't quite have my setup the way I want. I would like to have something more of a table in front of me. Haven't quite figured it out yet, so give me any ideas if any YouTubers are out there that are also new or have any tips from when they were new. I would like to be learning more about this and maybe refine my setup as I go. So I'm going to bronze. I just really like this Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Medium Deep Bronzer. This one is a mini one that I got. It was like a point perk or a reward from Sephora or something. So I'm just going to dip in there. I don't generally contour, so I'll do a little bit of this. I'll start with a line and then I'll blend it out because it's not too strong for me, I don't find. And then I'm going to just sort of take it around all the way. I am pretty tan right now, but I don't self-tan, and I'm not into looking super tan. I don't think that's really necessary on me anyways. So I'll just warm up my face a little bit, and then it kind of just adds some dimension as well. And then you can kind of see my cheekbones, but it's kind of, I don't know if that's like my actual cheekbone or if it's the powder. When I look straight at it, like I think the powder is blended. So now I'm going to take my blush. I use the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Mood Light. I think this is the most beautiful blush. I would actually use this as a highlighting powder if it didn't have such a pink tone to it. If you're familiar with the Hourglass products, let me know if you know of one that's like this, but more of just a skin tone, a light skin tone, or a translucent shimmery style. I'm not a huge fan of big chunks of glitter in my highlighter, but I do like the shimmery, glowy look. So that's why I like this one. I used to carry it all the way up here, but it's a little bit pink, so I just use it as a blush. This is kind of like my everyday blush. I just dab in there a bunch of times, and I just add it in there. I'm a little bit loose with it. Kind of like my cheeks tend to be really appley, so I just sort of go on with that. I start sort of here like if I was contouring, and I just go above and I follow that, but then I sort of do the smile and make sure I'm catching it. Okay, so now I'm going to do my eyebrows. I do have one more face product, but I'll do that after. So I typically use brow powder rather than, like I do have the Anastasia Brow Wiz in dark brown, and I do enjoy that, but I don't really like a super carved brow. I like a more natural brow. So I actually have this powder right now. It's the Body Shop Brow and Liner Kit. It comes in just this metallic packaging. You open it up, it has two shades, and then it comes with a little brush. I use this shade here, the darker one, and I use a little, sort of a stiff, thicker angled brush. So I'll dip that in. Just gonna grab my mirror. And I do have dark brows, but they're definitely sparse around the edges. So I will sort of follow the top line a bit, back and forth, not going too far into the center because I don't want that to be too heavy. And then I'll drag it through and I'll sort of follow this arch here. And I'll pull it, and then once I start to see color, it might go out of the boundary a little bit. I actually just like to pull my pinky finger on both sides, and then it sort of comes to a point, and I don't find it actually impacts my makeup that's already on. It just kind of stays as it is. And then I do have a bit of a bald spot right underneath, sort of in the middle here. So I just sort of carefully fill in, nothing too crazy, nothing too precise. I do highlight under my brow when I do my eyeshadow, but I don't I don't conceal around the edges. So just getting a little bit more product on my brush, going to the other eyebrow. This is my good eyebrow, and this is the one that always hides under my bangs, so this one's a bit more of a challenge. So for this one, I do the same thing. I go start at the top. Sorry, I don't mean to put the mirror in your face or anything. And then I follow down, and then I go underneath. You notice I didn't even really put anything over here. On the top a little bit I did, but not on the bottom. This eyebrow, again, I have a bald spot right under here, so I fill that in a bit. And then sometimes I'll point it straight up and down and just kind of fill in the middle. And then, okay, and so I didn't initially get it out, but I grabbed my, oh actually, it's the Anastasia Brow Definer that I prefer with the bigger tip on the end. And I'm just gonna grab the spoolie side actually now that I'm done my brows. I don't do this every time, but sometimes when I feel like I get too much product in this open spot here, I like to sort of sparse it out again. I like it to have a really natural look to it. And I didn't really, you'll notice I didn't really brush my brows prior to applying the powder. And again, that's just because I don't mind if it's that precise or anything, so I just do this, and then because I do have one more step for my brows, I like a brow gel, or sometimes I use, right now I'm using the Benefit Gimme Brow. This is in the shade 5, which is like a medium to dark brownish, I believe, or at least it is on me. So just running that through, I want the shape to be how I want it before I apply this product. And I actually typically, I forgot what I was going to say. Do you ever forget what you're going to say? Whatever. So let's just go ahead with this. I'm going to use the Benefit Gimme Brow in shade 5, as I mentioned. I don't start at the front here because I don't like, sometimes I can glob off, so I'll just sort of start in the middle. Now this does give a little bit of hold. Some of my eyebrow hairs are a little bit longer, so I want to just make sure I'm getting them where I want. I do really like the feathery brow look, but I'm not like an editorial model or anything, so I don't need anything over the top, of course. This is kind of where I get definition for the tail of my brow too. I'll just drag it through. And then same thing for the other side. I don't actually typically put anything there unless I can really be confident that I'm not touching my skin with it and I'm only getting some hairs, but in my opinion it's honestly just easier. And I didn't dip my brush here back into product. Oh, yeah, okay, so I just did it there and I got a little bit on, but I was able to pick it back up again. So I didn't have to dip my product back in or anything on this brush. It just, one dip was good enough for both of my brows. I just have one more product left for my face. Right now I'm going to use the Anastasia Glow Kit in That Glow. I also have the Sun Dipped one, which I really enjoy, but lately I've just been loving this one. I've been using Dripping in Gold here, and then I'll top it off just with a touch of this one, which is Sunburst, just at the very high points. So I'm going to take this Sephora Rouge. I think this is their the mini multitasker, but it's their Rouge gift right now. So I'm just going to dip into Dripping in Gold here. See if my aim is good. And I'm just going to go over those same spots where we did with the liquid highlighter. I really like Anastasia as a brand. I haven't used all their products. I think only have one liquid lipstick, and I love the Modern Renaissance palette just like everyone else, but I actually just ordered the Subculture palette and I'm really anxious to get that in the mail because I've heard a lot of mixed reviews, as all of you have, I'm sure, and I'm just anxious. I really, really want to like it, and because I tend to do more everyday makeup looks, I have a feeling I might have a little more luck. We stopped recording. I don't know what point we stopped. I added this Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in Original just on my eyelids. I'm going to use one of my newer palettes. This is the Jaclyn Hill palette, Jaclyn Hill times Morphe palette. It's a really popular one. The shadow qualities are amazing. The reason I chose to use this palette today is because not only am I a huge fan of Jaclyn Hill's, and I think she put an amazing amount of effort into the quality and colors in this product, as did Morphe obviously, but I think that a lot of these shades, I'm going to be using some of these warmer tone shades here. And I think they're fairly easy shades to find in other palettes, even though the quality and color may not be exactly the same. And it's new to me, and I love this palette. I do use this quite regularly, so I thought I would just go ahead and use something that I really enjoy and regularly for my everyday eyeshadow look. So I'm going to be using a couple brushes. I typically like to use my Sigma E40. This is one of my favorite ones. When I first started getting into makeup, I got this brush and it sort of changed makeup for me. So I really like this one. I'm going to start by going in, hold on, I got this little color card here of all the different shades and everything. I'm going to go in with Silk Cream. It's this color here. I'm just going to quickly, lightly dab in there and then tap off some of the excess and use that as a transition shade. This one is a little darker than a standard transition shade for me, I'm pretty sure. Like, I really like Creme Brulee by Makeup Geek. Those shadows are amazing. It's a little bit, that particular shadow is a little bit lighter than this one, at least from what I've noticed, and that's okay. I like them both. I do often like to set a transition shadow in there that's really similar to my skin tone at first, because just to help with the blending, but I like that despite it being a little bit darker, it's a warm tone, and it sort of sets a really nice base for my next shadows. I kind of want to, I don't know what I'm going to do today. I think I might sort of dip into this shade here. This one is Pukey, of course. So this one here, I'm really tempted to use this one, but I think I want to use one of these pink shadows as my glitter on top. So I'm going to take it over here, a little bit more of a greenish, brownish, warm tone shade. I'm going to keep that more on the outer corner and more, actually I'm going to use this new ColourPop brush that I got. I got it with an order that I made, but they send you these brushes now, which is really nice. It doesn't have a name, not as far as I know anyway, but I like it because it's a little bit more precise, especially for getting in your crease here. I'm only really going all the way in when there's not that much product left on the brush, or at least that's what I'm intending to do. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'm almost done, guys, because I like a really simple look. I typically like warm colors, even I'm wearing like a wine-ish colored shirt. I don't care. I like it. There's no rules here. So I'm going to maybe a bit more of a red-toned outer. I think I'm going to take these two colors. I'm going to start with this end one here, which is mocha, and then come in to chip as it's a little bit darker. Again, making sure all the excess is off. I'm actually going to grab my mirror. So I'm just going to use my mirror because I need to be a little more precise here. So I'm just going to go on the outer edge and in the outer V here. It'll add to just a bit of the smokiness effect, which I like. I have hooded eyes, so it's really, I guess I have my own assumptions that I make about when I do makeup. I don't know. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm not trying to be misleading or not give you all the information. This is how I've been doing it for a long time, and I maybe wouldn't pick up on what other people don't know if you need to know how to do makeup for hooded eyes. Typically my crease, I bring it up a little bit higher so that way you can see it behind my hooded eyelid. This is a Morphe E30. It's a big, fat, fluffy brush. It doesn't have any product on it. I'm just sort of blending out the edges because I don't want any harsh lines. As Jaclyn Hill would say, blend, blend, blend. So now I've gone into chip, that darker brown that I showed you, and I'm just going to do the exact same thing, but much more precise. I'm not going to take that all the way in. I'm just staying on the outer corner, and I'm not dipping in very much. I'm just getting enough that I can add some dimension, but not make it too dark. Okay, because this is a daytime look that I'm going for. Typically something that I would wear to the office too, so. Oh my god, there's a fly. I hate that. Why is there a fly? Oh, because I had the front door open because I was vacuuming my car earlier. That would be why there's a fly in my house. Hope it goes away though. Kind of like this faint color. No, is it called faint? It is called faint. It's called faint. This third one from the end here. These two, I haven't quite figured these two out. This one has a really like Nars Orgasm. It has like a gold fleck to it or an orangey fleck. which is really pretty, or like Makeup Geek Mai Tai, I think it is. And then this one, they're both kind of like that, but in different ways. This one's a lot more pink, so I think I want to stick to just like a girly pink for my shadow, which would, those colors would totally be beautiful with this look, but I want to just have a nice light. So I'm going to start right in the middle. Wow, that color is so beautiful. And then I'm going to carry it to the inside of my lid. Sometimes I will go a little bit beyond the center point because I'm going to blend it out with a brush after, around the corners anyway. And I'm going to go a little higher than my crease because sometimes with hooded eyelids, the color can just get lost in there and I want it to be really popping. How's everybody doing today? It's really sunny here. This is my first video, so maybe I should tell you guys a bit about me. I'm from Canada. I'm from the West Coast, off of Vancouver Island, which is off of Vancouver. So very, very West Coast. It's actually really awesome here. The weather's great. It's really hot today. We're in the middle of a heat wave and we're at like 34 outside, so I'm just sort of hiding out in here. For the inner corner highlight, I'm going to use this second color here. The second color here, it's called Beam. So I'm just going to take my electric palette little brush, synthetic purple hair one. I really like it. I'm going to take the smaller side and just go on my inner corners, and that will so pop. It's beautiful. Or at least I think so. Okay, so I've done that. Sometimes if I find this isn't glowy enough down here, I'll even take it here. Today, like I obviously, there's lots there, that's fine. But sometimes I'll do that. And then this, I don't typically like a glittery or a shimmery shade on my shadow, or not my shadow, on my brow bone highlight. So I'm just going to take this fatter side, but just the tip. I'm going to dip it in there, and I'm just going to go like right here. Same thing on the other side. And then I'll use my favorite brow bone highlight on top of that. Okay, so the Jaclyn Hill palette is being put down for a second. Just going to use the Modern Renaissance palette for my brow bone highlight. Tempera, however you prefer to say it. Same brush. And now I'm going to bring it all the way. I think this is a beautiful, light satin shade that just works really well with my skin tone for this type of purpose. Now I'm going to take this big fat E30, Morphe E30 again, and sort of just bring everything around like that. Make sure the edge of my glitter shadow isn't too bad. Sort of just buffs everything in again. And then lastly, I could go in with Golden Ochre. I'm really tempted to because I love that palette, but I'm going to stick with the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. Last time, going to go into this Silk Cream and Pukey shade again, just a little bit. I really don't wish, I wish I didn't have to say that. Jaclyn Hill girl, I see what you did there, but yeah, I guess I just have to roll with it. I mean, it's her choice. She earned it, so I'll go with that. Trying to keep cool. Okay, so I ended up having to zoom out a little bit. I messed it up. Anyway, we'll get better at this, I promise. So I'm just going to take this Morphe M432 flat definer brush into the Silk Cream shade here, do a quick, and then I'm going to go in with Pukey. I think I want to do, just to add more dimension, I want to add a bit of depth, sort of right here, my where you would do like a cat eye, but just on the outer part of my lash line. I'm going to dip back into Chip. It was that darkish brown there, and I'm just going to just looked in the mirror for the first time in a while, and it's actually like a really nice look. It's hard to see from my viewfinder there. Everybody should do this challenge where you have to do your makeup just in the viewfinder, and don't get me wrong, my arm is straight out in front of me. That's a good like 3 feet away, and the screen is like that big. So I think I'm doing pretty good. That's what I'm getting at here. I'm going to use my ColourPop eyeshadow brush again and just do that a little bit more up here. Just because I'm darkening it, I want to add a little more depth because I think it looks really nice. And then lastly, I'm going to take that Chip shade again, to make sure all the excess is off, and go, that's not working, right under my lash line here. A bit darker on one side. Sometimes I wish I had like another person's opinion, like if you could respond, that'd be great. I'm going to use my setting mist. I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray. I really like the mist on this as well. I always just refill this. Now for this one I am going to have to do the mirror close up because I will totally poke myself in the eye. Just warning you. So first I'm going to crimp or curl my lashes just like this. I don't typically wear falsies, again, just low maintenance, but I really like Kathleen Light's trick that she showed us a couple months ago or a year ago or something, is once your mascara is all like set and dry, like an hour later, re-curl your lashes. I'm not saying it's healthy for your lashes or anything like that, but dang does it hold a curl, and it looks hot. It's awesome. So I'm just gonna curl my lashes. Now I like to use a lot of minis. I have a lot of mini mascaras, so I always swap them out. I'm still sort of exploring them, so today I'm going to use this mini. It's a Buxom. It says Lash Mascara in blackest black. It's got this beautiful fat wand, and I really like it. It's like a plastic. It's not hair, but it literally like gets everything at once. Try to keep you in focus here. So just wiggle. Pull it through. Wiggle, pull it through. Oh, do you see that? I poked myself right there. See, this is typical Sadie. This is totally normal. Don't worry. We're lucky if my eyes don't start watering like crazy, because that would be also absolutely normal. I like to blame it on other things. Like right now, we have a whole bunch of forest fires in British Columbia, which is awful. There's a lot of people displaced. It's really terrible. But it's very smoky outside because of that. It's drifted over, the wind has blown it over, and it's really sitting with us during this heat wave. So yesterday I blamed it on that. It was fine. But I really think it was that I poked myself in the eye. Then I like to use this Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. This is a mini again, but it's got the really teeny wand. Just little wand like this, so I really like to use it for my lower lash line. Who am I? What should I tell you guys? I have a full-time job with a municipality. That's what I do for my work. I'm a planning technician right now. I just finished school, so I'm really lucky to have a job already. And I really enjoy it. And what else? I have a boyfriend. His name is Kevin. I don't have any pets or kids or anything like that right now. Our parents have pets and we're with them all the time. But so I finished my mascara off screen, and I'm just going to finish with a lip color, and then I will show you the finished look once I pull my hair down and everything. So I really love this color. It's a Kat Von D lipstick, one of her limited edition ones. It's Lolita 2. I love this color. It's my holy grail everyday lipstick if I could choose one. Now, the lipstick form is limited edition, but you can get the liquid lipstick in a Lolita 2, I believe. This is my favorite one. I don't have that much left, but I do have another one because I'm smart and I bought two. I'm just kidding. More like obsessed. So I'm just gonna... Now this comes really colored or pigmented on screen. I don't know if it's actually that colored or that much color. It's like a, it's really like a warm tone nude. Let's see, I'll zoom you out. So it's a little more pigmented than I thought, but whatever. I love this color. I'm just gonna go pull my hair down. I'll be right back. Okay everybody, so this is the finished look. I hope you liked it. If you liked my video, please subscribe. I'm brand new, so all of the sharing and subscribing and everything like that helps. Please comment on my video, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.